Hey everybody, it is Pocono Pam, and I am so super excited to be taking over Dana's blog and YouTube channel today so I could share my card for her Got Joy Creations holiday series. My card is full of bows and an afro, and to create my card, I use the Ton wedding dress stamp set along with their holiday bow stamp set. Now I was going to show you how to create the bows and how to stamp it up. However, over on the Tons YouTube channel, they do have a video on how to do that. So I changed my mind. So now you just get to watch me compress my Misty stamping tool, and then you can see how well my stamp set is. I love this stamp set. And it's actually how Dana and I met. She was showing this off on Periscope a few years ago when it was released. So what I am going to show you is how I created dimensions for the bows. I used Ranger Ink Archival Ink Aqua, and then I also used Brutus Monroe Gradient Chalk Ink Sea Glass. What I did was I just stamped out the bows, let it dry for a while because you don't want to ruin your Copic markers in any way. I then grabbed a BG10 marker and I got started by highlighting the open spaces there that you see on the stamp set. And then you just want to fill it in just a little bit with a light hand as you're just wanting to start to add dimension and highlights. I next took my BG32 thereafter, and I started just to work on the edge and start to blend those two colors together, thus adding more dimension to the bows. Now, as you see, there's one right there in that upper left-hand corner that I'm not really paying too much attention to. That's because the light hits the gift bows in different ways. Then I'm going to grab my, I believe, the BG15 next, and also add more dimension to that. Start coloring in and just blending the colors together. And so you see it's coming along pretty fine. And once again, just start blending them in all on the edges of the bow. Next, I come in with the BG13 and start doing it again, just adding them on the edges there. Start to blend the colors, and it's coming along fine. Now, if you ever feel that your work is not looking too fine, I got great advice from Jennifer Dove one day. She's runs the Copic Boot Camp. Just take a picture of your work, and then you might be surprised what the lens sees that you cannot see. All right, so now then I come back in with my BG10. And I color it all in, blend all the colors together, and see what a difference that makes. Now, when you're stamping and using your colors, use any color combo you want to, and that makes your project and uniquely you. So after this, then what I do is I go in with like my C's and sometimes my N's, and I add shadows there as well. Just I don't really like try to, work too much on it, because then sometimes you can overwork your bows or whatever project you're working in. So while I'm doing that, now will be a good time to talk a little bit about Dana's Got Joy holiday series for this season. It runs from November 17th to December 14th and includes Dana, of course, along with 20 guest designers. Be sure to subscribe to Dana's channel as not to miss any of the holiday inspiration, along with card making tips and tricks. And what's a holiday series without giveaways and sponsored discount codes? Each day during the series, Dana will host different guest designers like myself on her blog who will share a card or two. So make sure you leave on a comment on each designer's post or videos, as the more comments you leave, the more chances you have to win. And I will be giving away a $25 gift certificate to Simon Says Stamp. So please make sure that you comment. So I cut out the bows using the coordinating die in my CRICUT CUTTLEBUG. And a lot of people I noticed cut off that white border after they used the die. However, I kept the border as it'll be part of my design. Now onto the dress. I knew that I wanted to place an afro onto my image. However, I know that sometimes the detail ink can use that sharp line, and I didn't know if the afro would show through. So I then said, well, maybe I'll stamp her out in my ink on 3 fade out, no line ink. And then I couldn't decide. So I stamped her out several ways. And then I said I would make my decision from then. So that you can see I did. One of them is even half and half. But so I went on to color the skin. You all know, well, this is such a small image. I didn't want to take time to show you that I was coloring the skin. I will let you know that I used E50, E51, and E53. My thing is I want to show you how I color the afro. So we're just going to jump right into the afro. So with the afro, I start off with C0. And usually I color from dark to light when I do hair. Hair only, I go from darker to lighter. But when it comes to my afros, I always set the shape and the base with my lightest color, which I said is the C0. So that's what I'm doing here, just setting the shape and the base and just, making that shape there. Then I come in with a C1, and then you just dot it up. Just put little dots everywhere as fast as you can. Just no rhyme or reason, just put it in. Well, there is a reason to stay inside the shape of the afro, but just put in the little shapes there, the little dots, and then just keep going in. Then I go in with a darker color. It's usually the C3 or C4. Same thing, just dot it up. You want to keep the highlights there because of the natural light that would be shining through the afro. So just keep it there, just keep going. Now, your afro doesn't have to be this color. It could be any color you want. I'm just showing with my C's. So I keep popping in with a C3 or sometimes C4, and then you just make it darker as you go. And you just keep going, just dot, dot, dot as quickly as possible. But as you can see, you can still see that dark line from the image below. Then I come in, this looks like a C6, I believe, because it was off camera, I'm sorry. So I just keep dotting that up, dot, 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 and make squiggly lines at the same time. It's fun, you just have to practice and really try to use the tip of the marker, just dot it up there. But yeah, I wasn't too happy with that. I love the image, you can see that line underneath the afro. Yeah, so definitely decided not to go with her. But I kept working on that afro though. I came back in with that C4, just going in, working. Didn't help though, because it wasn't covering up the line. And usually in other images I work on, it does. So I went with a stamped image with the ink on 3 on top and then the Raven ink on bottom. And I liked how it turned out. And here I was just showing you the comparison where you can still see that harsh line even after it dried. So I am sticking with the other image. I colored her up in R24, R27, and R29. Well, not her dress. Then I used the Spectrum Noir Sparkle Glitter Brush Pen, and I love this. It's so sparkly. So you just sparkled her up, and I let that dry. Then for the afro, I used a Wink of Stella Zig Brush Pen in black, and that's pretty sparkly too. Just for her afro. Once I started, then I realized it had like specks of gold in it, and I like that a lot too. So you see how pretty that is? It's really, really pretty. And it even looks nice on black paper as well. So with one of the other images, I placed I set her off to dry. Then I placed her on top of the other image, traced around her afro, and then left like 1/8 of an inch border around the image, and then cut it out with my Tim Holtz serrated scissors, because I would be using her as a background once I adhered her to that background. And I did that using my TONIC CRAFTY Tacky glue. That is my go-to glue, and as it's easy to work with and it dries pretty quickly. So then I went on and I cut the Merry Christmas TONIC Studio script die. I had some scrap paper laying around for the background, and then that Merry Christmas is the Wax Lips Red. I love that name for red paper. It's by Basil, and I also use the same cardstock for the card. It's an A7 card, so it's a 5x7. So then I worked with the card, and I was designing the card and deciding where I wanted the bows and where I wanted the sentiment, if I wanted to add or take anything away from it. And it takes me a few minutes to design the card. And then once again, I take a picture of it to make sure I like it, and then also remember my design so that when I go to re-glue everything down, that I can remember where it is. So I had lots of fun showing you my bows and an afro. And I thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you got a little inspiration today. And remember to always stop by every day to see what Dana is sharing on her blog as their discount codes and lots of other fun things. From my family to yours, I wish you a happy and crafty holiday season. Thanks for taking a peek.